What's up, Ryan?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Can't complain.
First off, must be a good feeling knowing that you're going to play this Friday. How's it feel knowing that their game is right around the corner?
I mean, we're all the guys are excited. Obviously, last week with Notre Dame having to pull out was kind of a blow to us. We were really excited to get back out there and show them that we're not the same team that we were. That we have been working and we've been trying to fix these things. But we're glad to get back out there against Campbell this Friday and to show Deacon Nation that we're back to it.
What's the biggest things that you guys on the defense are working on heading into the matchup against Campbell?
For starters, one, just doing our job. I feel like these past 2 weeks we've been, kind of straying away from that, trying to do our own things. But, now these past 2 weeks that we've been able to have, it's been really just do your job and know your job well. The second piece I think to it is knowing more of the defense as a whole versus, just knowing your assignment. But as long as you can do your job, but, like in the past game and things like that, if you can understand, more of the concept of what we're trying to get done, then that'll help you, make certain plays that maybe – through like doing your job, you can, kind of bend a certain way, do a certain thing, to try to make another play.
Do you think that was something that really hurt y'all the first two games, not knowing the whole defense as far as some of the guys?
Yeah, so I feel like, it's one thing, to know your job, but I feel like it's very important as a whole that we understand what we're trying to get accomplished as a unit.
Ryan, what was the adjustment where, up till Tuesday last week at like 2:00, you guys were preparing for Notre Dame, and then all of a sudden you've got an off week?
Well, I feel like our coaches did a really good job of preparing us. They brought us in, they said, hey, guys, we're not going to play this Notre Dame game, but that doesn't mean we're not going to practice. We're not going to, not, get ready for the game upcoming. So, we had a lift day, and then we started practicing and preparing for Campbell. But yeah, like I said, I think our coaches did a really good job of getting the film ready, getting the cut ups and things like that, to allow us to come in, watch the first and second down tapes and things like that to get started on them early.
Ryan, how much time did you folks spend trying to fix what might have went wrong against North Carolina State? And then how quickly was it for you to turn the page and start focusing on the next opponent?
Right. So we had our little walkthrough of adjustments and things we had to work on, things we needed to fix from the game. And then as we started to practice, we started harping on, as we messed up in practice, because that's what practice is for, we had to emphasize, like, hey, this is what killed us in the NC State game. We can't let these things happen again. So we had to focus on, you know, turning a new page and, not – we can't go backwards. We got to keep taking steps forward, because if we keep taking steps forward and getting 1% better every day, then that's only going to allow us to get better and allow us to win games in the future. So we had to really get our nose to the grindstone and just keep chipping away.
As that game is unfolding, Ryan, as a linebacker, how surprising was it for you to see how effective the Wolfpack offense was? And how do you kind of, on the field in the heat of the moment, kind of respond to that?
Well, I think as a linebacking core, for starters, I'm going to be mature about it. I don't think we handled it very well. I think we definitely could have handled it better. But that's on us as me and Jaquez as the starters. That's our responsibility to gather the group and really collectively gather everybody's heads. But I think me and Jaquez kind of failed to do that, and that's on us. And as men, we accept that, and we try not to let it happen in the future. So that's why these practices have been very imperative for us to get back to it and get back to Deacon football, because we know how good we can be per last year's defensive improvements. So, we know what it takes to get there, and we know what to do. We just have to do it. And I think it starts with me and Jaquez.
So I'm assuming the result obviously wasn't what you guys wanted, but you feel like there was some growth that came because of that?
Oh, yes, sir. I feel like there was a lot of humble pie eaten that game for sure.
Ryan, do you think that you and Jaquez have played anywhere close to your potential level?
No, sir. I think every game there's room for anybody on this team to get better. whether one game you have a great game, you get 15, who's to say next game you can't get 16? Who's to say the next game you can't get 17, right? So, it's important that these guys understand, like, hey, every game's a new opportunity for you to get better, but it starts in this practice. You can't make the same mistakes as last week. You got to keep getting better and, get in that film room, write your notes, really be a student of the game so you can go out there and get better every single practice. So then when it comes time to perform Friday or Saturday, you can be the best, even better than you were the previous week. But it starts in the film room, it starts at practice, and it starts with owning your mistakes and learning from them.
Has that been a point of emphasis in the last week and a half or so to really own the mistakes and kind of?
Yes, sir. There's been a lot of, looking in the mirror and really saying, what have I done? How have I prepared? Things like that.
Is that, you were playing defense for this team 2 years ago quite a bit. Is that kind of the same things that were going on 2 years ago too?
I think there were a lot of things going on 2 years ago, but like I said, last year's defense was so much improved from 2 years ago. But like I said, me and Jaquez, as the starters, we know what it takes to get there, and we haven't been producing to that level. But we're lucky that this week we have Campbell. We've been able to have about a week and a half of preparation. So this week there's no excuses. It's time to go out there and be Deacon tough. It's time to Deke up. Yeah.
It's kind of a balance that's needed there too, right? Because you guys have only played 2 games. You have 9 left on the schedule here. You get another off week after this one, and you can't just throw everything out and try to revamp the whole system for 2 games, right?
Right. We put in some different little calls here and there, but nothing too drastic. But I think what Coach Lyle and Coach Hemphill and Coach Clausen and those guys have done to the defense right now, it's gonna be really good and really fun to watch.
Ryan, how was last week different for you as a player than – I mean, on paper, it was a bye week. On paper, you didn't have a game, but it was laid out completely different. Plus, you're coming off a tough loss against NC State, in which, I mean, I think everybody would admit that the defense underperformed. How was last week different for you from a bye week than most other bye weeks you've experienced?
Well, it was kind of fun watching college football. The SEC was back. It was kind of cool watching those guys get out there. But definitely knowing that we were supposed to be out there that day and knowing that we wanted to get out there and show them, like, hey, like, Notre Dame's next. We're not about to fold for anybody. That kind of hurt for us. But, we understood with Corona, like, there's nothing we could do. We had kind of had to let that blow with the wind and kind of, restart, refresh our minds, get healthy, and get back to learning the Campbell.
Ryan, were you one of the guys that was at Waldo's Wings Saturday night watching football? Were you part of that group? There was.
I didn't know, sir. I didn't go Saturday night, but I was there probably about Thursday.
Okay, because I noticed you guys they did a nice job of wearing masks. I mean, how important is that when you guys go off campus and stuff like that to be to stay safe and and really be ready for anything?
Right. Well, that's everything, wearing a mask. So if you catch it, you could be. You will be quarantined, and then you could also have other guys in contact tracing, and that can just mess up the whole season. So that's imperative that everybody wears a mask no matter where you go, because you never know who has it. Like Coach Clausen says, just treat everybody like they have it.
Ryan, how much – go ahead, Eddie.
I know you guys wanted to play last week, but would you say that the bye week was almost needed at that point?
Yeah, in some ways I think so. I think it was important for some of our guys. Coach Clausen got some of the younger guys who kind of missed out on those camp reps, whether they were quarantined or whatever. But they got really important reps, and they're going to also get more reps in this Campbell game. But, yes, I do think this was needed in some aspects.
Ryan, how much have you paid attention or aware are you, or how much are the coaches talking about the fact that Campbell canceled in-person classes for 2 weeks and called off all the other athletic teams' practices? Like, is that something that you guys have talked about?
Yes, sir. So Coach Clausen just because first I'm really good friends with the offensive tackle there, Mike Edwards, and he told me, yeah, they canceled the in-person classes. And obviously it was all on Twitter, so Coach Clausen addressed it at the end of practice. He just said, they went to in-person classes. However, they tested their whole football team, and there were no positives. So the athletic director said they're playing, and, it is what it is. And, we're excited to play. Football is football.
It's just kind of a weird 2020 thing that you have to
Right.
get an assurance that the other team tested negative all, and something you in any other football season you never would have heard anything about, right?
Right.
Gotcha.
Ryan, you talked a little bit about the quarantine experience. What have you talked to other players about that, and what have they said?
Well, first, I've never got to experience, but the other players were just saying, you just don't get to leave. They bring your food, and they leave it outside your door. But they said, just make sure you wear your mask because quarantine is not it. It's not a place to be.
If you did have to quarantine, hopefully you don't, but if you did, what do you think you would occupy your time with?
I'd probably be doing a lot of push-ups and sit-ups. I tell you that.
I've heard it's called COVID jail, so you don't want to you want to stay out of that, correct?
Right. Get your food delivered to you at the door, and then that's about the only daylight you get to see outside your window.
Anything
So
else, Ryan?
You're not like a video games guy. You wouldn't be like, I feel like Greg Dortch would be in there playing Madden for 12 hours a day. That wouldn't be you.
Oh, I love Madden. I haven't gotten 21 yet, but I'm about to get it very soon.
You guys all good with Ryan?
I'm good. Thank you, Ryan.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Perfect. And we will see you guys at what was it? 2